she's a fucking moron, honestly. Did you record that?
Oh, jeez.
All right.
Oh, dear.
Oh, this is you.
Oh. Hello, listeners. I'm Damien.
I'm Natasha.
Welcome to episode 13 of The Lowbrow Lowdown. We are reading pandemic-themed literature.
So you don't have to.
Natasha, what delights are we in for today?
We have entered the genre of romance.
But I...
Or is it
Well,
chick
I
lit?
feel like we were in romance with erotica.
That's
and
true. Yeah.
I mean, there's no romance in this
Oh,
book.
no. It's a pretty ordinary. So this is called, it's book one of Cupid.
Book one.
Oh, yeah.
Is this a series?
I get the feeling there's many terrible books. We are only reading book one. Just don't worry.
Yeah, no, we're not going to continue down
We're
this
not going to
rabbit hole.
continue this series. So it's book one, Finding Love in the New Plague. It's a COVID-19 romantic comedy by Peyton Rainier.
Would we call that comedy?
I laughed.
Oh, yeah. Do you know what? I laughed.
Yeah.
I take that back.
Yes. So, when the lockdown hits, recently laid off Carrie Turner is determined to start things with a bang. I mean, what?
Oh,
Okay.
Carrie Turner. Is this like a Carrie Bradshaw Sex in the City?
I feel like it is. It has that sort of vibe.
Yeah. Without the actual plot.
Without the plot and interesting character.
Sorry.
So, no, we're all good. However, she soon finds that entering the quarantine dating scene ain't all it's cracked up to be. Sorry, Damon's laughing at my face. Like, what?
Fainted.
From zany matchmakers to the wild west of Tinder, accompany her as she navigates rabid conspiracy theorists, vapid movie stars, gritty detectives, and more. She's on a quest for love in Los Angeles, but at this point, she's willing to settle for a quick coronavirus fling.
Did I miss the detective?
I missed the detective as well.
I don't think there's a detective.
Look, who knows? There might have been. I don't know. I just don't.
Like, so you're like, there was no detective.
There was no detective.
Is she the No.
No, she is not bright enough to be anything.
Poor Carrie. Look,
All right.
so I want to kick off. So, she is a social media manager and she has this very boring description of how she's made a life for herself in LA and she earns enough to sort of live a comfortable life. And she slept through her alarm, she arrives late to work and she finds out she's being laid off.
Along with half of the department.
Like with
or
everyone,
whatever.
because
Yeah.
apparently she works in PR and then she says she works in social media. It's very confusing.
Yeah, well, I thought she
Which,
worked
like, I know
with a
that there's
focus on
crossover.
social media. So,
Yeah, I understand there's a crossover there.
yeah. Well, see, I read that as a sarcastic thing. Apparently, our services were no longer needed and PR disasters were but a distant memory, never to darken the reputations of corporations again.
And that is probably the only insightful thing that happens in the whole book, is that like organizations do lay off PR people thinking, oh, well, we'll be fine, but
They're
No.
often not.
no, they're often not. But I guess all this to say, she's somebody who needs to understand technology and cutting edge, like social media, what's going on. And the premise of this book is that she just doesn't understand that Tinder was even a thing. When did this happen?
This happened. She had to get a friend that she really didn't like.
her best friend, who she thinks nothing of.
Nothing. Who, from all available evidence, seems to have been catfished by some extremely good-looking guy.
Oh, wait, no, that's not the best friend. That's the work enemy that she...
Oh.
So, like, the
Oh,
first thing
yes,
she
right.
does is her and the woman who obviously needed to be fired anyway also got laid off.
Such a bitch.
I'm just like...
You got fired.
Look, I mean, I know I used to have a workplace nemesis, but
Look at workplace nemesis.
I also didn't go for drinks with him to, like, for no reason.
Anyway, so she was talking about... So was it the workplace nemesis?
Yeah, it was the
talking about-
workplace nemesis
that's right, she
who was
met her.
like, I've met this really beautiful man. And then she showed a picture that was apparently oversaturated and therefore clearly a stock image. And I'm like, have you not seen Instagram filters? Everything is oversaturated.
HDR is not your friend, people.
But like, you know,
Yeah, go on. Sorry.
stock images are obviously stock images.
Stock images are stock images. Yes.
It's one of those things. I had this conversation with someone recently, and they like had used a stock image. And I said, it just looks too American. And they're like, what does that mean? I'm like, you know, you look at it and you're like, they're American. And like, I don't understand. Like, they just look American.
Certain dental work, who knows?
Dental work, like, all their clothes are too big or too small.
They've got giant chinos.
They're men wearing shorts that like fit at the waist and then balloon to just below the knee. What is with every American man cannot wear a pair of fitted shorts?
Oh my God. One of my cousins who, I don't know, if you're ever going to have a family nemesis, he's my family nemesis.
Got a few.
Anyway, no, he would not be listening to this, so I don't really care. So he got married a few years ago. I'm not going to say where, but on a beach. And his bride wore this beautiful white dress, and she looked lovely, and she was very nice. He wore jean shorts
No.
and a white shirt, but, you know, pretty cash. But it's like the jean shorts that went from, you know, on the
Yeah.
waist down to below the knee. And I just thought, I don't know how to say that you have underdressed for your own wedding when your wife looks amazing and you've just
Here's
let
the
her
thing.
down.
If you want to do a beach wedding, there is nothing. I would not like balk at a man wearing like linen trousers that are kind of flowy and beachy. I'd be like, do you know what? That's a vibe. I get it.
It's a vibe.
Just any form of denim near sand, no. Bad idea.
Bad idea. And it just looked, oh, well, I don't know, just looked.
What a way
Like
to
a
tell your wife, I could give two shits about being.
Like they really love each other. And I don't doubt that. Although they couldn't communicate. They would have arguments via Facebook. And I would just ring them and say, just talk to each other for fuck's sake. You're right there. Yeah.
Oh dear.
Anyway,
Yeah.
finding love in the new plague. So she's entered lockdown, and she thinks that that's the time to be going out and meeting new people in bars.
This is the other thing that makes no sense. They've just announced a lockdown, whatever that means, and I've ordered some masks, but they haven't arrived, and now I'm going out to bars. Maybe this is how it happened in America, but when they announced
Maybe
a
it
lockdown
is.
here, we couldn't go out.
Yes, there was a run on toilet paper, and then and then we all, you
Just
know,
reminded me I need to get toilet paper.
yeah, okay. We all shut our doors to the outside. We'll put red crosses on the door. I don't know if we did. It was not this.
And
So
if we saw somebody walking out of a supermarket with like a trolley full of toilet paper, we followed them with a bell going, shame, shame.
oh man, remember the days?
Oh, there was a day, and we were like down to our last like fifth of a roll, and I got to the supermarket when it opened, and was like,
How many other people were there?
so many. Like this is like so early in the pandemic, and I was like so ashamed of myself, but I had to, with these people, run to the toilet, and it was like a Black Friday sale. And I just grabbed
Doorbuster.
like I just grabbed one like very large packet of toilet paper, but like they were like ripping them into trolleys. They were like yelling at each other, and I was just like, "This is insane."
So insane.
And I'm part of it. If someone's filming this, I'm in it.
Yeah.
Like I never saw myself. Maybe there is footage of me on the internet,
No.
also sprinting ahead of all of them because I,
You can run
at the beginning
faster.
of the pandemic,
Yeah,
was
yeah.
quite fit.
I mean, it just. And these poor people would be shamed on TV and the news. Oh, how dare they shop for toilet paper? It's like, no, it's a failure of supply. Like, there's a problem here.
I mean, there were-
messaging that about go home right now. It's like, oh no, we need essentials.
There were people who were overdoing it.
Oh, absolutely.
And-
Remember those people that be hoarding things in their garage? Like, I did feel very smug through pretty much all of the pandemic lockdowns we've had because I get Who Gives a Crap delivered a couple of times a year.
Yeah, and they deliver these huge box.
Yeah, I've got a box of 48 rolls of toilet paper downstairs, and like a week before the lockdown kicked in, we'd received our delivery and was like, oh no, we're sitting pretty, we're fine. And so I would have given people toilet paper if they needed any. Would have done this weird thrown it from a distance.
Ticker tape parade. Maybe that's how we celebrate the end of coronavirus lockdowns. It's like the ticker tape parade of toilet paper.
Toilet rolls.
Oh, dear. I did somehow get into a conversation through this whole thing. Sorry, we're not talking about this book.
No,
it's terrible.
it is actually fucking terrible.
But somebody said to me very matter-of-factly, oh, well, men use more toilet paper than women.
I
don't know how they
true.
know that or if it's true. Like, is there a study where they were like, we put a man and a woman like with the same supply of toilet paper and see who runs out first? And they... Like,
I don't know, and it depends on there's a cyclical component to some of this. There's going to be different usages.
If you got COVID, you might have needed some.
Oh yeah, well that was that was one of the symptoms, wasn't it?
Yeah,
upset tum.
Sorry, but I digress. Where were we?
All right, so
she's in lockdown, but she's going on dates.
She's going on dates. She is somehow right. So I'm just going to read I've written 5 or 6 lines. She gets laid off. She's somehow paid very well to manage social media. Like, is it?
That's not a thing.
It feels like it's not a thing, but maybe
because no one understands social media. They don't value it, and they just like
and they get it wrong.
Yeah.
So she wants a boyfriend or a fling. So she throws herself into online dating. Good for her. Without somehow knowing what online dating is, doesn't. Oh, that's right. And the author clearly hasn't heard of Tinder or maybe even used Tinder because she refers to advertisements on Tinder.
I mean, look, full disclosure, I haven't used Tinder, but Grindr has advertisements. The Greens advertise on it every election.
Oh,
you're like, and sometimes you open it up and they're like, vote green, or sometimes it's this fleshlight's on sale. Click here and buy it.
Oh, okay. Because she saw the offer of hot milfs in her area.
Oh.
She thought
was that an advertisement or was it somebody spamming her?
Oh, well, I mean, both. But anyway. Yeah. Anyway, I've clearly got this wrong.
Oh, I don't know.
I don't know.
It was, like, the thing was that her position was kind of like, she hadn't dated for a couple of years. And this is set in 2020 because COVID's happening.
Of course, yes.
And she's like, where did this Tinder come from? And I'm like, it's been around for a while.
It's been around for a little while.
Like,
and also, if she's on social media, like, she should be knowing what happens in an electronic space.
Yeah. Also, if you're working in social media, you should be aware of how other things can be used.
Yes.
And it sounded like she was in a field where they were looking for innovation. And, you should be able to go, hey, I've been doing reading on the latest thing.
Right,
it's
I mean, she
TikTok or
whatever,
Tinder or Grindr or whatever. And I think we could hit our target market through this thing. Maybe they laid you off because you're not good at your job, even though you think the other lady was bad at her job. They were just like... This idiot doesn't know what Tinder is. How is she?
Does she even know what Twitter is? I mean...
She never mentioned it once
It doesn't mention any of the social media platforms. Not that that matters, but...
She does at one point refer to her various streaming services. I was like, is she like trying to avoid naming them? But then later she's like, Netflix. I was like, oh, okay, no, maybe not.
God. But then... look, I mean, my notes are just bizarre.
Well, she hooks up with it. Well, she connects with a man on Tinder.
Oh, that's right.
Who is like from the beginning red flags. Like I probably would have given up on the second interaction. Just gone, oh no, you're weird.
Yeah, unmatched.
What are you doing? Saving the world.
Oh yeah, actually, although
are you a doctor? No, fuck off. Like not that only doctors save the world, but
no, there's lots of people are heroes. The interaction she had is one that I felt, the frustration of trying to interact with someone who's not engaging back or...
Yeah, giving you kind of
like
obtuse responses.
Obtuse or just...
Monosyllabic,
answering your question but not asking their own.
It's very frustrating.
It is very frustrating. So she goes on this date with this anti-vaxxer conspiracy theorist guy, is he?
Yeah, who shows up in a hoodie and a mask.
Oh, that's right. He may as well have
And
been wearing
sunglasses?
a tin hat.
And I was sort of like, oh, this guy's sort of cutting edge on the mask thing. But then it was like the way that I imagined he spoke was like, oh my God, I'm super serious right now. Everyone's watching us.
Yeah.
Are you gonna? Like she's stuck around. I would have left immediately, or maybe like it's the privilege of being a quite tall, large dude. But I would have been like, fuck off. Nah, I'm out.
I thought there was someone on the weekend, not a date. I was at a service station getting petrol, and it was a man. There was a man. Excuse me. There was a man in front of me. He was paying for his whatever chocolate bar with cash, and the man at the counter was like, "Oh, geez, not many people paying cash anymore." Just made an observation, and this guy went on a rant,
Oh God.
anti-government rant or anti-establishment or whatever the rant was about. And he, turned around and gave everyone in the shop a bit of a presentation about.
Welcome to my TED talk.
Welcome to my TED talk about how bank accounts are how they track you. One, how they track you, and they control you. And if they can zero your account, which is why you should do everything in cash.
So where does he keep his money?
He has cash. I don't really know. I suspect he didn't have a lot of money.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And I just thought, I just don't want to make eye contact with this person at all. And that's what I was visualizing when I was reading this book, going, oh yeah, it's that nut job on Tinder.
Yeah.
How do nut jobs meet other nut jobs? I don't know. All right. So what is she? So she goes on this Tinder date that doesn't go anywhere. That's right. No, she got drank. Oh no, blah blah blah. Sorry, I'm just scrolling through.
Blah blah blah.
Blah blah blah. She's 2 hours in lockdown, already going stir crazy. Anywho, spelt any HWO. No, not. Oh fuck! I just misspelt who. WHO. Rather than HOO.
This kind of, I
really
think,
just sloppy.
so what I would say is this is kind of written like stream of consciousness. The thoughts in my brain are all
so
interesting and funny.
Yeah. Yes.
I've kind of got an excerpt. Look, I found it really hard to pick one because there wasn't something where I went, this is hilarious or this is amazing.
Terrible.
It just was kind of...
It was, you know what? You'd be at a party talking to someone who would be extremely boring, but you couldn't get away.
Yeah.
And it's just one boring story after another.
It makes me think of... Sorry, this is a boring story, but it makes me think of...
That wasn't a hint, Damien. It wasn't a hint. Oh, my God.
In Futurama, which I know is a terrible way to start any kind of anecdote, but there is an episode where Dr. Zoidberg's trying to find love, and and he says Fry says to him to say to this woman, ask her about her day. What did you do today? Well, first I woke up and then I had a piece of toast, and like the joke is, like if people actually told you what they did today, it's really boring. This book is what did you actually do today?
Yes, that's exactly it.
And like I'm trying to, she's looking for a job, but it's kind of, this is after she's been woken up hungover. She woke up in the middle of the night and everyone's texting her about lockdown, but she was too boozy drowsy to.
It's like lockdown happened without her realising. It's like, oh, there's all these text messages, so I've got to stay inside, but then I'll go out.
There was no logic.
No.
Was there a lockdown or not?
Yes, I'm going to say yes, but it was very loosely enforced.
I guess it's one of the Republican states.
Oh,
I mean, LA is not.
No,
not at the moment. It's California's. Yeah, they're a Democrat at the moment, aren't they? Yeah.
Anyway,
who knows?
Well, that's probably around at the same time as my excerpt. Excuse me. It is the sentence I couldn't spell, or the word I couldn't spell. Anywho, I got fired But I wasn't too down yet, in spite of my mother's best efforts. She'd had a conversation with her mum, and her mum was like, "Oh, you got to get onto it." I don't know. The afternoon was spent ostensibly browsing job ads, but really just putzing around on my phone and playing with random apps that had previously been relegated to toilet breaks at work. I mean, I don't know. If you're at work and you're doing your job, just...
Yeah, like...
I don't know.
I'm starting to see why they fired you. Like,
Yes.
did you spend all your time sitting on the shitter, like,
So
playing Words with Friends?
Random apps. So she understands apps. Anyway, I had a vague awareness of unemployment and severance and such like, so there was a bit of a safety net in the back of my mind. I could bounce back. I always had. I found a job. Great. If not, things would still work out somehow. This is laissez-faire attitude to
I, like,
being made redundant and this vague idea of severance. Like,
it really reeks of someone who comes from a lot of privilege. Like, oh, I've been fired, but everything always just works out for me. Like, if I get fired, I'm terrified.
I'm terrified.
Because there is no safety net. I do not come from a wealthy family where someone's going to pick up the bill. It's me and my partner. But, like, you know.
I am my safety net. And I am a terrible safety net.
Yeah, no. Look,
So, not panicking at all. Please keep me
Don't
employed.
panic. Look, I don't think
Right.
we're losing our jobs in the pandemic.
No. Thankfully. So after she goes on her Tinder date, she vaguely remembers her mum had given her some bit of paper with a matchmaker on it. And this is the thing that just seems, out of all of the things that lazily thrown into this book, the most unrealistic. So she rings this matchmaker, who sounds like
Who answers the phone? Darling.
darling.
Hi.
It's like some
I've already forgotten her name. What is it?
Showtown, like carnival.
Someone who really wanted to be in the show business of show, but is now a matchmaker. I've already forgotten her name.
Oh, look, lady, I don't know, madam something. No, I don't know.
I'm like scrolling to find
madly. All right, so
an all caps darling.
So one matchmaker. What the fuck? It's 2020.
They still exist.
Oh, do they?
Yeah, it's like a thing, and like in particular, matchmakers for rich men and women who want to date rich men is like a big thing.
Right.
Which I find insane.
Slightly gross.
I remember there was one of those stupid lifestyle TV shows. I think it was like Foxtel or something.
Okay.
And it was like matchmaker for wealthy man to find him someone who he can control, essentially.
It's dying.
And they had an episode where there was like a gay millionaire, and he's like, she lines up these twinks who are like, oh my God, I'm so excited to meet him. I hear he's really beautiful. And it's like, it's as bad as you can imagine. But he, as this millionaire, I don't know.
I love that that's his personality.
Oh, yeah, that's like his whole personality. And he just kept saying, well, I'm really meta. Yeah, but in like a vapid American accent. I'm not going to try and keep doing one. I'm really meta, and everyone needs to be meta. And I was like sitting there going,
does he not know what meta means?
what does that mean? Like, and
Now
what
it
he
means
meant is he's spiritual.
Oh, God.
But then every conversation he had with the potential suitors, who were all like
Sorry.
18, and he's 45. Again, age. I'm not someone who freaks out about age.
I'm not going to freak out about it, but I will judge from time to time. But go on.
But he's sitting down and he's like, so are you meta? And you look at their faces as they're like,
I can be whatever you want me to be.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
That sounds great.
Oh my God. But also...
And he picked one of them. And I assume it lasted 5 minutes. And then that was the end of it.
My God. So she rings this matchmaker out of the blue. How does this matchmaker stay in business? She just gets given this folder of photos to go through.
No, it was a folder of one dude. She got sent home with the folder.
With the folder.
That included a handwritten link to his porn.
Oh my God, it did too.
Like, I like to think that it was like a Pornhub URL. And so she'd handwritten out like, pornhub.com /a / 17XJF. Somebody look that up and tell me if it's a thing. Like, it's just like 300 characters. He's like uploaded himself.
So she wishy-watched apparently was quite bad. The porn.
Quite bad, but she still double-clicked the mouse.
She still double-clicked the... She did.
Have you not heard that?
Jesus. This woman, there's no way she deserved this job that she had. No.
She's giving us some entertainment.
Anyway, and so she goes on a date with this guy.
A date that sounds like it went beautifully.
Yeah, but it was like, I don't get it. Like, was he...
Well, we find out later that he's a, like...
actor?
This is the weird thing. So, like, he arrives at the date. He's apparently the most beautiful thing she's ever seen, and she doesn't know why he'd be interested in her. It's the plot of every teenage romance ever. And...
Madame Ebony.
Oh, yes. Madame Ebony.
Sorry, go on.
And they have this very wonderful conversation. He's asking her questions about her, and then he's like, I have to go because I have an audition.
That's right.
And she's like, oh, are you an actor? And I feel like this would have come up the minute he walked in, but anyway.
In LA.
Yeah. Beautiful man in LA.
With
possibly looking to date a woman with
photographs
of like modeling photos.
Yeah.
And porn. And then he like gives a monologue that she thinks is real, and there's like a tear that goes down his cheek, and then he's like, and they was acting.
Yeah, like just then. Is it?
Yeah, and then she's like, oh, he's a liar. And I was like, you deserve each other. Like, you're both insane.
She's so vapid. Is she?
Well, and so he goes off to his audition that apparently is in the bag. And then she decides, well, maybe I'll just shag him and get it, like, and that'll be that.
Yeah.
So they like continue to, like, they text the next day, and she arranges to go over, and she gets all done up, and she arrives, and he comes within like 12 seconds of her walking in the door.
Right.
In her mouth. And then kicks her out.
A fucking prick.
So, like, do you know what?
Yeah, sorry. How was that not... Like, the book was so boring, I immediately forgot the terrible bits.
I mean,
that's right.
That's probably a real experience.
Gonna say it is. There are times when... So this is all in 1 week of quarantine. Way too many left to go. So I've just jumped to the end of the book. Madame Ebony has found the perfect man for her again.
Between the weird actor and Madame Ebony contacting again, she had some contact with the guy from work that she contacted right at the start about, hey, what are you going to be doing? And he was a bit like, oh, I'm going to take a break and work on a personal project. And he reached out and was like, oh, my script's going really well. And I was like, the conclusion will be that this guy that she knew that she hadn't really thought was a suitor, maybe was like someone she could have liked all along, and she makes a connection, and we don't, it's a short story. We don't know where it goes, but like the hope is there because he's normal. And it went nowhere.
However, I suspect COVID Cupid Book 2, social distancing through restraining orders. I'm sorry. That's what it is.
Jesus Christ.
There's a typo. Restraining. Social distancing. So I suspect these characters will make a reappearance and further grow the story, which I'm not reading.
No, that is the cat's water thing, if you can hear it.
Yeah, if you can hear it. I've got an automatic cat fountain, and my cat...
She's just triggered it.
She's just triggered it. And
so we're not weeing.
It sounds like it. But, So I feel like we have finished the wrap-up of the book. It was pretty shit. I feel spoiled, like, in a really bad way. My mind feels dumber as a result of this book.
Do you know what? It gave us a good laugh.
Yes.
But it was just
so dull. It was this weird romantic chick lit with a veneer of pandemic that wasn't really
it just
realistic.
it needed a plot.
Yes.
Like
just a woman going on dates that aren't very good. It's like I could just be talking about myself.
It's a series of bad date vignettes with no narrative thread, really.
No.
Peanut wants to contribute to the podcast.
She does. So, rating out of 5 masks, it's going to give it a 0.
I mean, I'll give it a 1. She put words on a page. She managed to navigate the Amazon publishing portal. Gotta give credit where, you know.
Oh, you're right. But it's still a 0.
She wasn't racist.
You're right.
You know,
Look, fuck, the bar is so low, isn't it? Tell us what you think.
Yes, tell us what you think. You can email us at lowbrowlowdown@gmail.com or follow us at lowbrowlowdown on Twitter and share your thoughts.
And we are we are needing to really lock down what we're going to be talking about next year, because we are not going to be talking about COVID next year.
We are absolutely not talking about COVID next year.
We're not sick of it, but, you know, COVID, I don't want to be dealing with COVID next year. I know we are going to have to be, but...
I understand it's a reality, but I don't want to spend next year talking about it.
No. So we're thinking we'll do a little bit of a poll on Twitter, or just tell us. So I've just made a little list.
I think this is quite a good
start. Good. Damien might need to add to it, or we can ask our...
Well, so like at the moment we're looking at, so what topics can we cover next year? And they kind of work as like some links into our theme of like cultural moments right now. So one of them, obscure zombie movies, which, I mean, I've already watched them all, so that'd be really...
Damien introducing Natasha to obscure zombie movies.
I watched one yesterday when I was meant to be reading this book. Accidentally hilarious horror movies, also good. And
good.
I have some to add to the list.
You?
There's one called Frankenhooker.
Right.
And I don't know if it's meant to be funny or if it's meant to be serious, but it is hilarious.
But there is a whole heap of films out there that are meant to be scary and are hilarious.
Really funny.
Yeah. Reality TV, I mean, that's a broad church, so...
It is. But then again, like reality TV in the age of what we're going through right now has like gone through all these changes in the ways that they do things. And then the horror stories that could have been written about the screenshots from Natasha's dating apps. No, that's a joke. Look, I feel like if we did that, it would end up being COVID themed because there'd be so many references to unvaccinated sperm.
There are a lot of unvaccinated people out there who put that on there, you know.
Unvaccinated sperm seeking unvaccinated egg. And you're like, Jesus, this is the least romantic thing I've ever read.
Yeah. I do send screenshots to Damien and to the group chat, and some of them are very funny in a very tragic way.
Yeah, there is this thing of like, there's no level of self-awareness to go, if a woman looks at my profile, is she going to think that I'm not insane and not going to cut up her body?
Spray her with a lawnmower.
Chase her down with a remote control lawnmower.
No.
So we're interested. We'll pull together our ideas and we're going to put a thing on Twitter, like a poll.
Yeah, probably later this week. Not immediately, but
because we're nearing Christmas.
Christmas
is our last pandemic themed episode.
Yeah, we'll do a bit of a wrap up of the year, I think, and then but best of.
It'd just be like 30 minutes of please laughing. I was out to dinner with someone the other day and said, I heard an excerpt of your podcast and it was just you laughing. I was like, yeah, that sounds about right. She goes, honestly, it made me go, maybe I should listen to this. I'm like,
well,
there you go.
That sounds
There's
fantastic.
more of this where that came from.
So much. All right. So I think, are we done?
I think we're
done. I don't think we gave, look, this book, I thought it was going to be, I don't know what I thought it was going to be. I didn't think it was going to be as just
dull. It really was like this person was going, "Oh, I'm writing Sex in the City," and it's like, yes, but Sex in the City had a plot.
Had a plot, had characters, and you can just visualize this person sitting at a laptop just, oh, I'm so funny, I'm so entertaining, I'm so amusing, and
Finishing their first draft and hitting publish without even reading it.
yep. And we've read too many of those already, and I just would like to not have to do that much longer.
I do like the idea of something where an editor has had to look at it. Like, and
Like our
film
last
and
one,
television.
the last book we read.
Yeah. Oh, the
Still
last
so
book we read,
precious.
I've recommended to so many people. I've
Yeah.
recommended to published crime authors in my PhD
yeah.
group, and they have been like, "Oh, it's great. It was really clever."
So
Like-
beautiful. Yeah.
So yeah, like, don't read this, but if you want to read Corvid by Martin Cross,
Look
so
it up.
good. And every single person I've gotten to read it has said that was excellent.
Yeah. And not so long, but it was just beautiful.
I need to
Anyway,
get- I need to get a copy
you
to
can
my
listen
mum
to episode 12 of our podcast to find out more.
to find one of the few things we liked.
We didn't laugh too much. Yeah, no. What was it? Episode 11? It literally was 5 minutes of us laughing.
Yeah, just because it just was ridiculous.
It's ridiculous. Anyway.
Stay safe, everyone. We're like at 90% vaccine, but if you
Oh, how
you
fantastic.
haven't and you're thinking about getting vaccinated, it's a really good idea. Go speak to your
Yeah.
doctor.
Or if
and-
you're eligible for your booster, go get it.
Oh yeah, that's going to be coming up soon.
Yep. Mine's not due until February or March, but
Yeah, mine's early next year as well.
yeah.
We got vaccinated
Yeah,
around the same time. Yeah.
So,
Take care.
bye.
Make good choices. Bye.